In the past few years alone, I've been poisoned, drugged, broken, hospitalized, and my DNA forcibly taken from me. It's called the Venom Prison, something that even Christ himself had to deal with. It's a curse that dates back to the Garden of Eden. A combination of verbal, mental, physical, and psychic attack. The closer I get to the completion of this project, the more dangerous and the more serious these attacks become. As I prepare myself for the battle of my life, and as people the world over worship the image of the beast and prepare to accept its mark, I ask myself, is mankind misguided? Does the Most High Father still protect us? Or have we stepped outside the safety of the Garden of Eden? Or if we're lucky and work together diligently, can we transmute our evils into something revered, respected, and holy? Or will mankind accept their fate as unfit angels? Or if we're lucky and work together diligently and as one, can we, together, finally bring the heavens to earth? I find myself living in a world I never knew before. I never really gave much thought to anything spiritual, especially my own spiritual nature. A few years ago, all of that would change in a drastic, dramatic, and world-changing way. Meet the train wreck. I've been writing for years and years and years. I have written myself in circles, nothing more than wild notes on random subjects and my experiences. I figured out all kinds of cool things, that our sun is connected multidimensionally to all others, that heaven is really below us, and that we're all really just the same soul filtered through planetary alignments and the zodiac. When I was a child, what captivated my imagination more than anything was world mysteries. Stories about vampires, werewolves, mermaids, cryptids, fairies, trolls, demons, gods, and yes, aliens. Especially aliens. My story and all of my writing is really at its core a lifelong investigation into these very mysteries. I found out very early on in life that if you seek out mystery and you gaze into the abyss will gaze back at you, and you yourself will become the mystery that you seek. The reason I'm really here is to help you understand what is happening to you and around you in this world. I always thought it very interesting and strange that I had a birthmark right in the center of my chest. It was such an odd birthmark to have, and it was a perfect circle in cherry red. I always kept it in the back of my mind, the first memory I can recall I was surrounded by people made of light. And these people said to me that I would have a very difficult life, and my whole life I would wonder why it had to be so difficult. And they said that one day I would understand exactly why it had to be so difficult. And then they asked me if I liked the name Mitchell, and I said yeah. The story began when I was a child. A spirit whispered into my ear and said, "You will love her, she will love you. You can't give up. If you keep going, you will save her and you'll save the world." And I've been fighting ever since. Around the age of 9, we lived in the middle of nowhere, and my mother came into my bedroom and said that there was 2 kids outside that were asking for me. I was very surprised because we lived in the middle of nowhere and there was no kids for miles and miles around. So I went outside and I saw these 2 kids. It was strange because they were wearing clothing that looked as if they had just stepped out of church in 1929. So I asked them, "Are you from around here?" And then they said, "We are not from around here." I said, "Okay. Well, would you like to play?" And then they said, "What is playing?" And then all of a sudden, right in front of my eyes, they just disappeared. I ran around the trailer. I looked down the dirt road we lived on, and they were just gone. So I ran inside. I told my mother about it. She was surprised, but she didn't really have a reaction. So I went into my bedroom and I looked at the book that I had been reading, and it was a book about UFOs. I was a big fan of movies. And when you're a kid and you live in the country and you're really poor and you have nothing to do, you watch a whole lot of movies. Of course on VHS because, again, we were very poor. And poor kids can't really afford to go to the movie theater. In the 80s, there were so many cool movies that were coming out on VHS because it was kind of new. My mom got into the habit of taking us, me and my brother, to the video store probably every other day.
And we have a large horror section, and of course we're real heavy in new releases. We get a lot of so-called B movies. That's not the most known.
So the VCR was basically my babysitter. My mom really didn't care what we rented. So eventually I got a hold of Rosemary's Baby. Now, to me, even as a kid, movies were really never scary. In fact, I could never really find anything that could scare me. I wasn't a really big horror fan, but I wasn't a noob either. In fact, one of my favorite movies was The Shining. But for some reason, Rosemary's Baby struck a deep chord within my soul.
Rosemary.
Shut up.
Rosemary.
Shut up, you're in Dubrovnik. I don't hear you. What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
He has his father's eyes.
What are you talking about? Guy's eyes are normal. What have you done to him, you maniac?
Satan is his father, not Guy. He came up from hell and begat a son of mortal woman.
This scene did something to me. Something that I cannot explain. This film caused an unhealthy obsession with Nostradamus and his prophecies pertaining to the Antichrist. At the age of 9, I remember thinking, how unfair would that be for a child to be born innocent and new, yet eternally damned? Now, I can't tell you how I know this. I just knew it was intended to be me. Did I mention my superpowers? Well, it turns out being the intended Antichrist has its perks. I can see the future. I can just look at a person and know pretty much all the things they've ever done wrong. Or I'll know what they believe they've done wrong. I could just look at a picture of someone on the internet and I automatically know things about them. As a child, I knew I would eventually have to address the world about sexuality and human nature, as well as spirituality and how it all works together. And a higher power I called the Source said to me when I was a child that I would be the example for humankind of what may happen to a child and to the world as a result of their powers that are not appropriately nurtured into maturity. Okay, I'm QAnon. I've been on several years worth of investigating into an issue that is world-changing. You probably won't believe my story, but that's okay. I still have to give you information that is going to save your life and your sovereignty. I've been on a mission from God to bring you a message, though it's a very complicated one with many issues to be spoken of. So let's just jump right in, shall we? From the book of Revelation 13:16 through 17, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. As a child, I had visions that one day in the future I would have to deal with this problem as well as other revelations. Around the time I was in high school, I had a band called Stella Nova. We were pretty good, and I loved playing music. However, I had to quit my band knowing full well that the Antichrist was coming. Without wasting time, we're just going to jump right into it. The SIM card, the coronavirus, and the cell phone are the mark of the beast. A perfect trifecta of enslavement, put together by people who practice extremely dark witchcraft and worship strange gods. In order to bring you this message, I've risked my life many times. I've been poisoned, hospitalized, and I've also received the most horrendous death threats you could imagine. In order for this story to make any sense at all to you, you have to understand that I learned the hard way that I am a part of a Holy Trinity. And by denying the Holy Trinity, the Father and the Son, I unknowingly and unfortunately caused the coronavirus. However, the first and second beasts of Revelation will be defeated by Christ, and that's what we're trying to do with this video. Your choices are as follows. And I'm going to run you through some stuff real quick. Now, I'm going to read you a list of choices that I've kind of come up with. The coronavirus vaccine, which is literally the mark of the beast. It's a genetic marker. They took my DNA when I was in the hospital forcibly. They just took it, and they made a vaccine out of it a couple months later. So my DNA is in that vaccine. Don't take this thing. It's gonna screw you up. Or they might say it's not gonna hurt you, but it's a genetic marker, meaning when you die and reincarnate, it has something to do with afterlife. So don't take it. Basically, go lose your soul. So the first choice is accept the mark of the beast, and lose your soul forever. You will also be Satan's physical slave in hell forever. I would recommend to not do this. Your second choice is to defend Christ, the Christ that is within you. It's inside your heart. You have to defend it from being oppressed by these devils. That's what they are. Devils. Some of them are aliens. There's all kinds of stuff happening on this planet right now that nobody is talking about or nobody knows about. There's a lot of dangerous stuff happening right now. There's a lot of risk that humanity might be enslaved. So now also the third choice that we have here is you can come to me, and I recommend this for people who have special abilities, kind of like myself. For instance, I can see future events and stuff. I've been seeing visions my whole life of the future that eventually come true. My third eye is all kinds of open, and it's enough to drive you half insane. It's difficult to deal with at first. God told me that since you're my children, you can tell me anything, and it will be like you're telling the Most High Father. So it makes your sins null and void. Basically, because the main thing is people lie. But if you come to me, you can talk to me about it. We're actually putting together a team of people that have like psychic abilities and stuff. Because right now on our planet, we have all these beings from all over the galaxy here right now, including our own children from our future that are looking back in time on us, and they're all trying to figure out how we were able to beat the mark of the beast system, because it's never been done before. And like I said, I'm given visions and communications from them all the time. So they're telling me that it's already done. It's already like they're just trying to figure out how we did it. So we're gonna beat the beast system. We're going to. It's already pretty much in the bag. We just got to go through the motions. What we're gonna do is put together a special sort of club or a team or something, and some of these people from other parts of the galaxy are looking for people to join them, to help them on their planet defeat the mark of the beast and the beast system, because it's rampant all over the galaxy. This is happening everywhere. It's pretty much the biggest problem. It's basically has something to do with synthetic life forms that take over God created life forms, or spiritual life forms, and they use them for a power source, just sort of like in the Matrix. Pretty much, watch the Matrix. It's pretty much that. There's beings right now that are not good, that are studying our behavior. They're influencing our children and all kinds of stuff right now. They have complete access to your children on their cell phones right now, and it's not okay, because what they do is they can play mind games with these kids. They can program them just with visuals that they look at. They can program their brains remotely just with flashing images and stuff. It's not okay. So people need to start thinking about limiting their children's use of this technology, because this technology is dangerous. I've seen people walking around as if their cell phone is their god.
And to be honest, this illustration right here is not at all exaggerating. I've seen this with my own eyes. I've seen people act as if they are robotic and being told what to do by their cell phones. In the field of my investigations, both on the Gulf Coast and on the West Coast. And these kids, I mean, they don't ever get off of them. They never get off of these things. They're always on a computer. That's because they're addicted to it. They're addicted to the technology. They're being programmed. Who knows what they are or where they're from. Some of these beings you can't see. They're multidimensional. What I'm saying is it's beyond dangerous. Because right now we are not in the protection of the Garden of Eden anymore. We have taken the forbidden fruit of knowledge. It's on the Apple logo. It's a picture of a fruit with a bite taken out of it. They're telling you, because of universal karmic law, that they have to abide by.
Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity. So what I'm saying is that all of this is very real evidence of extremely dark and powerful witchcraft being used on all of us, especially your children. And in my research into witchcraft and the occult, I found that there's basically one law, regardless of your intention. If you are to cast a spell, the only thing that God or the universal consciousness cares about is that the energy that is taken or cast upon another must be paid back in equal sum. Therefore, what you do unto others will be done unto you. It's a universal law, not unlike the law of gravity. In order for this witchcraft to be extremely successful, they must first provide you with the rules of engagement.
They're telling you that you're partaking of the forbidden fruit of knowledge by using their products and paying for it. The Android logo, that is really supposed to resemble the clay golem from the Hebrew Bible. And the clay golem, look it up. Basically what it is it's an automaton. In other words, it's an android.
Golem. Shapeless mass, unformed, imperfect. In modern Hebrew, golem is used to mean dumb or helpless, often used as a metaphor as a mindless slunk or entity who serves man under controlled conditions.
It's a being that can be remote controlled. So what they're telling you is, we are going to take you out of the Garden of Eden under the protection from your creator, and we're going to convert you into androids. We're going to convert you into dead matter that is programmable. They're doing this to your kids right now. They're doing it to your kids, and you're letting them. You're letting them do this. You gotta stop it. Take them off of this shit. They're being programmed into androids. We have to stop it. I'm a part of the Holy Trinity. I'm going to end up being either the Antichrist or the Christ. It comes down to choice and whether or not I'm going to hinder or help humanity. And by the way, I've been trying my absolute hardest to not be the Antichrist. I have no other goals than to just not be the Antichrist. I'm not trying to hurt people or nothing. I'm trying to help you guys oppose this system. And I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've always known that this was going to happen. Okay, I assume all of you know or have at least noticed the image of the beast.
Yeah, you dealing with some wet. Bring up and I'm up for this wet. Give me everything you got for this wet. Beat it up, baby, catch a charge. Extra, then extra. Put this kitty right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I feel people, I'm kinda wild. Look at my mouth, look at my thighs. This water is wet, come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. That's role play, I read the skies. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage.
They're doing this so that they can shame you into accepting the mark of the beast. But I'm gonna tell you right now, these people don't know anything about you. They don't have, and I know that these cell phones are reflecting your own darkness back at you, and it has something to do with consciousness and maybe even something to do with what they're putting in the phones. But it's called the image of the beast, and they're doing this, like I said, to shame you into accepting the mark of the beast and being obedient. This is, as far as I understand it, it's a rite of passage that new civilizations have to go through in order to become a civilization that travels through the heavens. The image of the beast itself is nothing more than a reflection of your own inner consciousness. In a very real sense, it's like having your own Satan inside of the machine looking back at you. It can't do anything at all to you. It has no power whatsoever, and it's just reflecting. It's just like a mirror reflecting your own darkness back at you. I've been studying it for years now, and it can't do anything to you. It'll make threats. It'll try to scare you into taking the mark of the beast and wearing a mask and submitting to its will. However, I repeat that it has no power and cannot do anything to you. Not legally, not physically, nothing. Now, doing what it says is the equivalent of a number, and that number is 666. So anyone out there that's wearing a mask and being obedient is under 666 control.
If you accept this mark, your soul is forever lost. But if you fight for Christ, you will never taste death. And I mean you will never die. There are many from all over the galaxy right now here to witness how we were able to defeat a thing which has never been defeated before. Never. Our own children from the future are studying us, trying to understand how we survived this as well. It's got everybody baffled because there's all these people from all over the place that are from the future and the past and multi-dimensions and all this stuff. It's a jungle we're in right now. And that's why they're here, because they're allowed to be here. We're not under quarantine anymore. It's like a free-for-all. They can take it. They can just do whatever they want to us, pretty much. I've seen visions of this too. And they're studying us, trying to figure out, like, how do they do it? Like, where's exactly, like, what did they do, you know? It's interesting. So that's why, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, like, UFOs and stuff like that, but that's why they're here right now. They're trying to, like, say, like, you know, how they do this.
Our own children are studying us from the future, so I think it best that we give them a good show and demonstrate how a free people refuse to go silently into the night because they were told to by people that have no right to tell us how to be human, and that we are way more hardcore than they can ever hope to control with the mark of the beast.
Listen, I've been doing this for a long time now. I have been researching and studying and all this crap so that I could hopefully prevent the Antichrist from coming into being. There's no love in this at all. This is terrible. I'm tired of it and I want to be done with it. And if you think that this is what I want to do with my life, then you're crazy. In order to explain some of the things that I'm going to tell you real quick, I had started having memories about a year ago of some of my past lives, including Paul Tate, which is Sharon Tate's unborn child, and Adolf Hitler, Sam Houston, and a curse that spawned from my time as Cain, my brother Abel. So telling you this will kind of prelude to some other stuff that I'm about to show you. It has to do with angel messages, codes that I deciphered. So the first thing I'll start off with is an angel message that I received from a movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So the reason I looked this phrase up is because like I told you, I had a memory that I was Paul Tate. So I was Paul Tate, and I had a memory that I was inside my mother's womb as she was being stabbed in the stomach, and I felt all the blood leaving my body. It was draining from both of us, and it was a terrible feeling. It was like, if you ever had your blood drawn, it was like that, but times like 1,000. Brad Pitt asks him if he's real, and he says, "I'm as real as a donut, mother effer," right? I'm not saying that word because I know there's kids that are probably going to be seeing this in the future. So I took this phrase into Google, and then I typed either meaning or etymology or translation. I typed in "I'm." First I started with "I" to see all the different meanings that would come from it in different languages and stuff. It's pretty much the same everywhere. And then I would take I am and do the same thing. I get another word. So I get a word here, get a word here, and then I took I am a to see if that came up with anything. You see, and I'd write a word. So I go in order: one word, second word, third word. Then I'd take I am SA and see what word that would come up with. And then I would take I am SAR and see what that would come up with. And I just went on and on and on until I got the whole thing. So as soon as I started running out of meanings from the first one, I would go from the second letter on. So MA. And I'd take MAS. I would take that and write it down. I'd take MASR. Take that and write it down. And I'll keep going. So I go AS, ASR, ASRE, and on and on and on until all of this was done. And what I found was absolutely stunning and unthinkable that it would make any sense at all, let alone an entire message directed at me, the reincarnation of Paul Tate. I noticed in the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had this scene in here right before where Sharon Tate would have been murdered. Instead, they invaded the wrong house, the invaders, and they're trying to guess his name or whatever. And then he eventually says, "I'm as real as a donut, mother effer." So when I heard that line, I thought immediately, okay, well, this sounds kind of funny. So I bet you there's a hidden sort of message in there. It's an angel message. This is one of the ways that they communicate. So what I found was a message that makes a lot of sense. So I'm is the word for mythological giant. By the way, mythological giants are real, but you can't see them because they're purely spiritual, interdimensional beings. So mythological giant, I'm a mythological giant. And then as real is actually Azrael, not Azrael, but Azrael, which is the angel of death. ASA in Hebrew means a doctor healer, okay? Hebrew origin, and then the meaning of Asa is doctor healer, biblical name of the third king of Judah who resigned for 40 years. The next one is Azadus. So I'm as real as a donut, Azadus. As a donut, Azadus. So Azadus. Azilius, an unbound soldier. So he's both a healer and a doctor. Azilius, unbound soldier. And then I looked up what donut could mean, and that's Taurus, a halo. The soul is probably this in the shape of a donut, Taurus. Also the bull. So he is a bull. He's a Taurus. As real as a bull, as real as a halo, as real as a soul, as real as the electromagnetic energy field of the earth, which is probably exactly what the soul is shaped like. And then matter, mother actually means matter, Latin, it's in Latin. Matter, and then matter, physical substance, distinct from mind and spirit, our bodies. So, and then over here it's the meaning for bleep, to move back and forth, to strike repeatedly. So basically what I got out of this is sort of like a message. The rough translation of the angel message is as follows. I am Azrael, unbowed warrior, a doctor of love, a doctor of the heart, a giant of old. I am as real as roasted pork, suggesting that we're in hell. I'm as real as roasted pork, as real as an angel's halo, as real as the human soul and the electromagnetic energy field of Mother Earth. And what I get from this is your past is what it is, so that the relations between you, your heart, and the heart of your twin may be healthy again. You whom strike a matter repeatedly until the matter breaks. So, I'm trying to remember, where did I get this twin part again?
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is a complicated story. Real quick, all my past lives in a nutshell. Paul Tate, Sam Houston, Adolf Hitler, Cain, possibly Horus, but I'm not too sure. But one person has reincarnated with me in every single lifetime, and that's Abel. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to remove a biblical curse.
Oh yeah, because my twin is actually also my mother, who is Sharon Tate. That was a past life of mine. So what I'm saying is I was her unborn son when she was murdered. So what it tells me is that this story that happened between my mother from a previous life and myself happened so that me and her could have a healthy relationship again, because we died together in that past life. And I think prior to that lifetime, we were probably fighting and we were not on good terms. So that past life that just happened, me as her son and Sharon Tate dying, is what eventually led to us a functioning family again.
About this biblical curse, the venom prison. The stream of consciousness that flows through me is poisoned and then passes on to you, causing hatred and even violence for no apparent reason.
I happen to know that Bruce Lee had an affair with Sharon Tate, and Bruce Lee is my father from the previous life as Paul Tate. And I got this curse, I believe, from his side of the family. In other words, the dragon seed or the serpent seed is from Bruce Lee's side of the family. That's what got him killed. That's what got his son killed, Brandon Lee, which is kind of funny because my actual brother from this lifetime, his name is Brandon. Plus my best friend in the whole world since I was a kid, his name was also Brandon.
The etymology for the name Brandon means crow or little raven. This suggests that his son was a mini version of himself. As I said, everyone I meet in the world either represents my mother or my father. I'll get into some more angel codes later, as well as the way angels communicate by naming a person and the numerology associated with it.
But yes, they had an affair, and she was impregnated with me, and the serpent seed came from Bruce Lee's family. Its curse carried over, not only follows me through the bloodline, but it also follows me through reincarnations as well. The way I see the world is the only people I ever meet in this world are either represented by my mother spirit, the Magdalene spirit, or the Virgin Mary spirit, or represented by the Father, the Heavenly Father. And neither side gets along, neither of them. They always try to screw each other up and start fights, and they're always trying to blackmail each other and all kinds of stuff. The reason they don't really get along very well, either side of the family, is because they're harvesting spiritual energy from me. So it's kind of like I'm always being pulled in either one direction or the other. And it's like they extract spirit energy from me until I stand up for myself and do something about it, or make peace between the two sides, which I'll get to later.
The lyrics are about basically a guy who goes to hell consciousness go into hell, try to help people get out of hell. So I figured there's some sort of code in this because it doesn't make any sense to me. Now we're going to write and see what AW means. Used to express mild protest. Okay, let's go AW over here. Just write that down right here. AW. Express mild protest. Right? Express mild protest. So now we have WI is next. Right? WI. WI. So we go over here, type in WI. Let's see what comes up. We have is Wisconsin Wireless Web Intelligence Writing Intensive. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Getting a blank. Let's just look down at the definitions real quick if there's anything. Women's Institute. It looks like a bunch of abbreviations. It's not really going to fit. We can see this is a possibility right here. A prefix meaning wicked. So this is Urban Dictionary. We're going to go ahead and use it because sometimes I get hits off of Urban Dictionary. Wicked. Right? What's next is IT. Let's go right over here. Type in IT. Meaning temporary document. I'm not getting any real hits. Okay, that's good enough. So you get the point. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you just go through and you write down the definitions for each letter or double letters or triple letters. And you do that for the lyrics of the song. Bob with the bop, but dang a dang, diggy diggy diggy, said the boogie, said jump the boogie. You go through all those lyrics. 1 and 2 letters, combination of 3 letters at a time. Keep doing this, and you just list up all the definitions for what you get. Well, what I found was, and I found other codes too, and that's why I even did this song. But I found, well, I'll just read it to you. So, Baal, as in Baal, B-A-A-L, which is a lord. Baal, bird-headed figure, Horus, who survives after death. Have to remain alert or calm in crisis. Person of exceptional intelligence. To be or become aware of or learn. Yes, I, an affirmative response to Father, Baal, B-A-A-L, Lord, to Father, Lord. Officially forbid, legally prohibit, outlaw, officially exclusion of a person from an organization, country, or activity, sudden or loud noise. Yes, I, Father, Daniel, village of ancient Palestine, one who has achieved such a level, a son of Jacob and the traditional ancestors of one of the tribes of Israel, Danga, the definition, violent effort or struggle to obtain, controversy, quarrel, a point maintained in an argument, a naughty little fellow akin to a Gollum, a troll, when people riot, confusion, mutiny, to double twice, break up and move earth, act of digging earth by digging, search, rummage in a specific place, find money from somewhere, appreciate or understand, a remark intended to criticize, learn or discover by careful research or investigation, dig up evidence, archaeological excavation, work intensively, to eat heartily, slang, slang, when someone gets excited, to ignore, gray ghost in the graveyard, waves, to live, a bog, an area of ground, monster or terror, spectre, phantom, source of fear, harassment,
one not positively identified as friendly and assumed hostile ghost goblin, which I know to be Cypher. Something a person is afraid of without reason. To dance to rock music, party, move quickly, to get going. That is the message that I decoded from that song. I have to address my father, and I have to address Satan too. Satan, that's who Cypher is. This thing has terrorized me my entire life since I was a little kid. It's been screwing with me at nighttime. In fact, I got a picture of it right here. This is a terrible picture of it. This is what he looks like. I mean, he looks like sort of like that. My roommate actually drew a picture of him once. One of the nights that I had sleep paralysis. And he said, I told him that I had sleep paralysis at exactly 4 a.m. in the morning. He said, I did too. And he said, dude, there was something in my room. And he drew a picture of it. And through the wall, this is right here, looking through the wall at me, he was looking at it. He was looking at it. Looking at me through the wall. I've seen him a bunch of times. He's an energetic vampire. He can suck your energy out. He can cause you to have sleep paralysis just by looking at you.
He's about 3 to 3.5 feet tall. He's always wearing a hood similar to a Jedi.
But he's been screwing with me my whole life. So I found out that I am cursed with a curse. It's called the Poison Prison, and this guy has something to do with it, I think. And I know I'm going to sound crazy to you people, but this doesn't matter because proof is going to come. Watch. My friends are here. What's going on? There's the Beast of Revelation. The first beast of Revelation. I am the first beast. And I cast a image into the mirror of existence. Because my Father made me a Lord, and mankind is made in God's image. So right now, the world is affected by me casting my image into the world. Basically, the second beast of Revelation is sort of like a girlfriend of mine. We kind of got into a fight. I didn't believe in the Holy Trinity at all for years, and that's sort of what led to sort of a battle or a war within the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is actually represented as a friend of mine, or sort of like a girlfriend of mine. So this sort of battle between all of us kind of went on for a couple of years, and it really screwed me up, and I had a lot of hard times. But mainly what happened is I eventually realized, dude, this is real. This is a real thing, and I'm part of it, and it's how it is.
Okay, so the way I understand it, and what I was told by my father, the same guy who lived on this planet as Bruce Lee and many other people, he told me he is what is called a non-corporeal incarnate. He's invisible, and he can live as many people. In other words, he's a part of the Holy Trinity.
Or shall we call it quadrentity? Quadrentity. Well, how about for short, we call it Q.
I believe who he really is the opposition to Christ.
So, who would want to oppose Christ? I heard he was a pretty good guy. If you were raising a man that would one day be a lord or a god, you would probably be pretty tough on him, huh? My family's the only family I ever heard of that might just crucify their child. But that's not really all that fair, is it? After all, it's not his parents that crucified him. It's his own mind. And Satan lives there.
And I know him very well. He's a narcissist and a control freak. And since he's not held back by time,
He can do all kinds of things that will really screw you up. I'm going to learn from the example Christ left for all of us, and I am simply going to speak the truth. And the truth should be enough to change the entire world.
You. It's a problem that can only be solved with drugs. You can learn about the importance of drugs with the help of a videotape now available.
Starting with my visions in the hospital, I've been having periodic guidance by a divine source. That includes dreams, sometimes even voices in my head. And it's been telling me that if I'm to complete my mission, I must address drugs and sex. Anytime I've ever spoken to a person under demonic control, they were always under the influence of either drugs or alcohol. I myself was also under the influence and complete control of an entity from elsewhere. They can come to you even while you sleep, but not only that, they can actually physically show up in your bedroom. They can give you bad dreams, nightmares, and even sleep paralysis, where you lose all control of your body. This is not just a non-visible, non-corporeal issue. They can and do have physical bodies.
And then it kept saying like no breathing.
Who?
No breathing. The dream. In
Why
my
did
dream,
it say that?
it kept saying no breathing. No breathing.
Why would it say that?
And then I said like swiper. And it kept saying like swiper no breathing.
Really?
Swiper no breathing.
Swipe or no breathing?
People should start paying attention to their children. They were sent to here as your ancient ancestors to guide you forward, and they are the light. Yep, that's right. They're looking for a spiritual fight.
Yeah.
But it did have a jacket on. It didn't look exactly like that.
Oh, wow. Let me see.
And it's
Let me
called,
take a picture of that. Let me see. Show it to me.
yeah, here.
Let me see.
It's called the sleep paralysis thing.
When did this come and see you?
In my dream, but that wasn't in my dream. It was like, it looked different, but it was
Yeah,
me.
this
I
guy.
had like a jacket with a coat on.
This guy came after me a couple times.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Except he had a hood on, not a hat.
Hey, Nicholas.
Yes, babe?
I think I'm ready. You know, to have sex.
I figured you'd say that, so I came prepared.
You brought a condom?
No, silly.
Nick. Kinda kinky.
I rigged this room with explosives. Premarital sex is a sin. Have fun rotting in hell, Beth.
Nick! Nick! No! Wait! Nick, please! No!
The reason people have trouble talking about sex is because they're applying their own personal experiences to it. Therefore, they project their own personal issues onto the subject. This is one of the reasons why I've avoided sex for so many years, because I knew one day I would have to have this discussion with you. But I believe the best way to deal with this subject in particular, well, I think maybe I should just draw you a picture. Now I'm going to describe to you the importance of sex and consciousness, the act of lovemaking, and how important it is pertaining to humans and survival.
The way I understand it is if this dot right here represented the consciousness of one individual, and this one did too, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one as well, then this
could represent the consciousness of everyone in the world. So, this droplet here contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other droplets. This droplet connects by mixing the waters right here. And thus mixing the entire droplet, making a bigger droplet, just like regular drops of rain would coagulate. Now, if this droplet right here comes into contact with this one, and there is no alchemical exchange of energy, they will fight, or they will dislike each other, or something like this. Sometimes, I'm sure this is where a lot of violence comes from. The same thing with this droplet and this droplet. There will be friction. They'll try to harm each other. But when two droplets come together, like a bigger droplet, there's harmony. This is called mixing waters. And I would think that that's why they call some social gatherings mixers.
If Jesus was here right now, I would think that he would say something like this. Any man, woman, or child who seeks to destroy the innocence of any man, woman, or child should be swiftly corrected, and to seek your ways as they were in the Garden of Eden is to be divine. If Quetzalcoatl was here, I would think he would say something like this. The bow and the arrow is a weapon of war, and has no place inside your teepee, where there are no deer to hunt, nor enemies to kill, but instead it is a sacred place where you make love to your wife and create children. If you want not the enemy inside your home, then remove it. That concludes our talk about sexuality. Beelzebub, or Satan, he's shown up in my room a few times. He can show up as animals, usually in the form of a fly.
Right before this clip started, I was looking at my phone and I saw an Instagram post about Beelzebub, or Beetlejuice.
I would say that's a pretty good indication that Satan has direct access to your phones.
And as I was reading this post, it buzzed right by my ear. It was a huge fly, a big one. And that's how he announces himself when he's gonna show up. And then I started having like racing thoughts in my head, like he was bombarding my head with imagery, like kind of disgusting things. He does that to you. And then this fly just whizzed past my ear, and then I happened to get it on video. Dude, what the fuck? Oh, where'd it go? It's right there. When you see a fly like this, that means it's Satan. Satan is here. Beelzebub. He's here, right? He's right here, making it known that he's here in my room. Got you, punk. Damn. There he is. Meet Beelzebub. Jerk. Told you, dude, don't come in my room, dog. That's where he belongs. So, he's evil little shit. He's been screwing with me my whole life. Right here. This guy. Now, I'm a guy who has a biblical curse placed upon him. So honestly, I'm not really concerned with what you think of me. So it doesn't really matter if you think I'm crazy or not, because I'm not really trying to impress you. I'm just a guy trying to figure out all his past life stuff so he can ascend up out of here. And during my visions a few years back, during a near-death experience in the hospital, it showed me that that's exactly what's going to happen. Turns out, that's pretty much my life's work. I simply have different goals than you. My goals are simply not of this realm. So to you or anyone else that wants to say bad things about what I've done, I'll just say, please have some respect, because I was sent here to do the work of someone from a much higher perspective. That may very well even cost me my life, but I don't think it'll come to that. Okay, I told you earlier that I was going to show you how a biblical curse works. So, here's me. Here's my heart. Here's the Heavenly Father. Placing a curse on me, which gave me a birthmark. Sad face. Here's anyone else in the world that I come into contact with. So this curse basically makes what affects the stream of consciousness. Actually, it's like this. Consciousness goes up here and then back down into everyone else. So what it does is I project out into the world anything that I might be feeling or thinking or something like that. And this curse will reflect back anything that I put out into the world, and it has made my life unthinkably horrible. It doesn't matter what I do, what I say, where I go. It doesn't matter what it is, it's always wrong. And I'm always some terrible bad guy for it. And even right now, I'm trying to put together this movie, or this video for you guys, and risking my soul, by the way, to do it. And I'm being bombarded with stuff all around me. And they're trying to stop me from finishing it or something. I don't know. But it's enough to, I mean, I'm surprised there's not more. I'm not going to say it. But this is my life right here, and I'm trying to finish this so I can help you out there. So, I was asked by some people to try to make peace between two sides. Two sides. As I said before, everyone I know in the world is either represented by my father or my mother. My father is, I believe, the guy who died on the cross, which in effect makes me the same person, because the Father and the Son are the same person. The person I know in the world that represents the Father told me one time to be a fish, suggesting I should be like Christ. This is a female, by the way.
that represents the father. Well, there's several people, but the one that I know that's alive right now is a female. And the one that represents the mother, one time she told me, "You're cute," suggesting that by looking into the mirror of the world too much, is what will prevent me from looking inward, activating my Merkaba, the seed of the mustard. Focus all of your energy inward and love yourself. You will activate your Merkaba and gain your wings by looking away from this, the mirror of existence. Be a fish wants me to be a man who guides humanity forward, similar to Christ. Now, both of these sides fight. They don't get along at all. And they want me to make peace because this side here believes that they should stand for their own sins so that they can ascend and become like God, become like their creator. While this one believes that they should serve Christ. Now, both of these sides they do the same things. They're guilty of the same sins. I don't see really much of a difference between them, honestly. Now, what I think, as I said before, you have two options. You have three options. One is to accept the mark of the beast. No, do not do this. Do not do this. That's your option one. Option two is to honor Christ, and defend the Christ that is within you from oppression and slavery. The sacrifice. Okay? And help us man the immortal Christ ship. Okay? Option number 3 is to come to me with your problems. I can bless you, and I can activate basically superpowers. I can basically activate superpowers that are dormant within you, or maybe you have noticed them already. And you can help me defeat the beast system. Because that is our only goal for both sides. So we can make these two sides one side. Because to want to be like your creator and be able to do some of the things that your creator does is not evil. It's just wanting to be like your parent, like your dad or your mother. There's nothing evil about that.
to want to serve your Creator. There's nothing evil about that either. This is our only enemy. Right here, for both sides. We have to work together to defeat it. And we'll be able to travel to other planets. To help them defeat the Mark of the Beast as well. And together we will destroy evil once and for all. We will convert the ship of Christ from a war machine to a refugee ship where there is healing and joy. The greatest healers on the planet are women. So they will probably be in charge soon. My twin flame is my brother. But in this incarnation, he is a she, and she represents the mother spirit. So Abel is a non-corporeal incarnate. The person I know him to be in this world, in this current incarnation, if you will, is a girl that I know. The same one that led to the second beast of Revelation. What I think is, if we came together to show mankind what immortal families have to do sometimes in the infinite wilds of the jungle that is our universe. Not just as a survival mechanism, but also to keep our family together. And to show mankind how families last by way of marriage and having children together forever. I would think that that would destroy the curse. I'm hoping. So, we'll see what happens. Also, there is a man that died for your sins. If you need someone to vouch for you, it's him. I said that I would stand in between the Heavenly Father and you and your sins, but that's not needed if you come to me and tell me what your problem is. Because I cannot be shocked by anything. I've seen a lot of things, and I've prepared myself for this. I just don't think that it's necessary for someone to have to die for this. Now, fracking is a term used for the mining industry. And it means to remove earth and rock with water. So I don't see why we can't go around the world and start fracking this mountain apart. And if we're lucky and we work together,
for a change, maybe we can turn the page.
Climb it.
I'm climbing. I'm climbing. I am climbing.
Climb it, climb it, climb it. What? Oh, I can't do it. I have to have my tripod. Whoa. Whoa. I can do it.
Is this swinging?
Oh shit. Whoa, whoa. I've already uploaded this video a couple times, and they've removed one of them that I named Fight the Mark of the Beast, and they said it violates their medical guidelines or whatever. So I'm going to re-upload it under a different name on YouTube. It will be codenamed Happy Fluffy Butterflies. I'm going to start sending it out to everybody. I'm being recruited by an angelic race of beings called the Seraphim, and they're telling me that there's only two ways out of matter, the matter world, and one of them is through wisdom, while the other is through violence. And they're literally knocking on my window as I do this. So as soon as this is uploaded to the internet, I'm going to retreat inward into my heart until I become non-corporeal. If I fail to do so, I will be crucified, unfortunately. So I'm gonna be leaving the matter world soon, and it's gonna be either violent or it's gonna be through my own wisdom. So wish me luck, guys. I'll see you on the other side. This is a clip my angelic friends helped me shoot. Something miraculous happens towards the end, which I cannot explain. The young boy you see in the video is a
my best friend, and he has the unique ability of carrying both the father spirit and the mother spirit, and he can spontaneously switch between the two. He's one of my superheroes.
Fun time. Okay.
So you gotta
Hold on.
swing.
Hold on. Okay. You want me to push
In
you
this clip,
No, I'm okay.
he's mostly channeling my mother's spirit.
Okay. Who's tired? Higher? Then higher.
Me already?
No, I'm pretty sure me.
I'm already beating you, dude.
No! It's just because you're just counting that you're tall.
I'm just taller.
You're
I'm taller than you. I'm better than you, or what?
No, I mean, I don't know. We're both better than each other.
I'm taller than you, so I'm better.
No!
Automatically makes me better than you.
Oh no! Wait, you're higher than me. You're going upside. Are you dizzy?
What?
Are you dizzy?
Yeah, it makes you dizzy. I'm super dizzy, man.
Do the laugh again while you're swinging.
What happened to you? I'm dead.
Oh my god, you're dead! You're dead! But you're dead.
I was told by an angelic being once,
Whoa.
he who solves the mystery
It's weird.
becomes the mystery
You feel like you're gonna throw up?
he seeks to solve.
Do you think you're gonna throw up?
Say what?
Do you think you're gonna throw up?
I won't throw up.
No.
My head's gonna fall off though.
No.
My head fall
Wait,
off.
Mick, stop doing that. We're doing a competition
My
of
head
who's,
fall off.
we're doing a competition of who's going higher.
Okay. Oh crap, that felt weird. That felt so weird.
Are you dizzy?
No. Sort of. Head rush for me. Yeah, I'm better than you.
No.
I'm already better.
I'm probably better than you.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm better.
You're always gonna be better than me.
No, that's not true. You're better.
Oh crap.